All right. Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting for the Oxnard Public Works and Transportation Committee for June 24, 2025. Madam Clerk, may we have the roll call and posting of the agenda, please, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Chair MacArthur.
Here?
Committee Member Basua.
Here.
Committee Member Teran.
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted in the kiosk at City Hall, the Oxnard Public Library, the City Administrative Offices, and on the city's website on Tuesday, June 17th. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you want to lead us on the pledge? Yeah, okay.
Okay, please stand. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We'll go to public comments for items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
And Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers in person or virtually for items not on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the approval of the consent agenda for the minutes of the May 27th and June 10th, 2025 Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. Do any members have any questions or comments? If not,
Yeah, if there are no questions or comments, Mayor, I'm willing to accept the minutes as presented if we don't have any speakers.
yeah. Do we have any public speakers on this item? Is that?
And Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers on the information and consent agenda.
Thank you.
Committee Member Basua.
Aye.
Committee Member Teran.
Yes.
And Chair MacArthur.
Yes,
And this motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
thank you. We'll go to item D1, Public Works, annual purchase orders with Astra Backflow for backflow equipment and supplies. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommends that the City Council approve and authorize the purchasing agent to execute annual purchase orders with Astra Backflow, Inc., otherwise known as Astra, for an initial term of 1 year from July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, with an option for 4 consecutive one-year period extensions ending June 30th, 2030, for a total contract amount not to exceed $860,000 for backflow equipment and supplies. And the Public Works Department is here to answer any questions we may have. Do any committee members have any questions of staff before we go into any public comments? No, go ahead. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Beeman. Just a quick question, just so we have context for this. These backflow devices, these are essential devices for the infrastructure in the areas they serve, right? Would you mind just explaining a little bit about what it is that they do, just so we can have it on the record here, and then what the item is here in front of us?
Certainly. Good evening, Chair, committee members. My name is Tim Beeman, Assistant Director of Public Works. And so backflow devices are devices that are put between the meter and the downstream side of a private residence or commercial complex, and then that stops the water that has flowed past the meter from re-entering our system. And so these safety devices are put in on anywhere where there might be potential hazard on the backside. That doesn't mean there is. It's more of just protecting the system itself. And it is all state mandated. And so we do have the cross-connection control policy handbook that is dictated by the state, and those are the rules set down for us to follow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No? Madam Clerk, are there any speakers on this item?
Excuse me, Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers for item D1. Thank you.
Thank you. What's the desire of this committee on this item?
I will move the recommended action.
Second.
Thank you. Call for the vote.
Committee Member Teran.
Yes.
Committee Member Basua.
Yes.
Chair MacArthur.
Yes,
And this motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to item D2 from Public Works. Agreement with Pirate California Holdings, Pirate Staffing for temporary and supplemental labor services at the Del Norte Regional Recycling and Transfer Station. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Pirate California Holdings, LLC, Pirate Staffing with initial term of 3 years from July 6th, 2025 through July 15th, 2028, with an option for 2 one-year extensions ending July 15th, 2030, for a total amount not to exceed $1,250,000 for temporary and supplemental labor services at the Del Norte Regional Recycling and Transfer Station. Any members of this committee have any questions of staff on this item before we go to public comment? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Yanez and Mr. Zetz, for the information and the staff report and the presentation on this. I would say, cool name for a company aside, would you mind just summarizing a little bit for us about the services agreement we have in front of us and what we'd be looking at for this particular provider?
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
committee members, Brian Yan, Assistant Public Works Director. So yeah, interesting name, but no parrot comes with the temporary staffing. Del Norte, or Environmental Resources, have been utilizing temporary labor for approximately 11 years. And the labor that we're using are these positions that are very hard to fill, big overturn or frequent overturn. And so we utilize the Pirate Staffing because we can really pick up an employee and not miss any intensive labor that these employees are performing. So that's pretty much why we use these this temporary labor services for basically several positions in our operations, day-to-day operations. One of them being our sorter. Our sorter position is a high turnover, and those are the people or individuals, employees that are sorting our trash on the conveyor belts, pulling out the recycles and green waste, things that we can take to facilities that will recycle these.
Great, thank you. And I think Mr. Wolf has something additional here.
Good, Mr. Wolf.
Maybe, Brian, can you add just kind of some of the reasons why we need these filled rather frequently or in a fashion? Talk about like our permit requirement for how much we can store on tipping floor. Like, why would we need these in that expedited kind of fashion?
Yeah, because again, the one of the main positions is our sorter who separate these trash and our recyclables from from the materials that are being processed. So our permit requires us to clear our floor every 7 days. So the material that comes in needs to be moved, processed, and then either diverted to a recycling facility or the landfill.
So when we have these high turnover positions, and those positions are vacant, it takes a while for us to get through our regular recruitment process as we follow our recruitment process through the HR. And we don't want to violate our permit and the trash keeps coming in. And so we want to make sure that we don't violate our permit. And so this is an opportunity for us to have a kind of a stopgap to fill those positions as we go out for recruitment and things like that. Because, like I said, the trash is there every day, comes in every day, and we have to get rid of it every day. So
That makes sense to me. I would imagine that we can't just 1 week say, hey, we're not going to do trash pickup this week so we can catch up out at the MRF, right? Yeah. And that's along the lines of my last question here, Mr. Yan, is, with a high turnover position like a sorter as an example, I would imagine that we could, at times get to a staffing level that is low enough that I'm imagining there's probably limits to how long we can work any one individual or how much overtime we can give folks. And we do need probably a minimum number of actual bodies there to do the work in order to meet the demand that the sorting position has. Does that sound about right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. And last thing, if we do violate the permit, what are some of the example repercussions that could come from that? Just a range is fine if there's a range of them or steps.
We'll get a notice from our local enforcement agency, which is the county. They come monthly to do inspections. So they would probably give us a notice of violation probably without a fine. But we haven't been in that predicament, and we don't plan on being in that predicament. So that's why we have these step services, so we are not in those predicaments. And I'm not sure if the actual fine, if there was a fine, but we have a very good working relationship with our local enforcement agency, and we abide by our permit that we have on hand.
I will say that it's probably a good thing we don't know what the fine is and that we have no intention of getting to that place where we find out. So, all right, those are my questions. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Yanis.
Yeah, I'm certainly very supportive of the program to do this agreement with Pirate Staffing. So I move the recommended action as proposed. Any, no? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers for this item. Committee member Basua?
Yes.
Chair MacArthur?
Yes,
Committee member Teran?
Yes.
And this motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
thank you. We'll go to item D3 from Public Works, agreement with Crago Pest Services for landscape pest control services. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Crago Pest Services with an initial term of 3 years from July 16th, 2025 through July 15th, 2028, with an option for 2 consecutive one-year period extensions ending July 15, 2030, and for a total amount not to exceed $660,000 for landscape pest control services at city parks and other landscaped areas. And we have Public Works staff here to answer any questions any members may have. Any questions before we ask for public comment? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Lopez, for the information on this. Just a quick question with this, specifically to gophers. I know we've had this come up in the past. This is always an exciting subject, I know. My question is, this would apply to all city landscapes. Does that include parks and softscape medians as well?
Chair, committee members, Brandon Lopez, Parks Manager. Yes, parks,
Somebody turn on the-
landscape medians, and other landscaped areas throughout the city.
Okay. And if we were to have a resident or member of the public who noticed there was apparently a gopher infestation somewhere, is there a way to report that to parks, or would it be 311 app? What's the recommendation on that?
311 would be the easiest way for us to track it, or calling into the parks office.
Okay. All right. So I know that in Campus Park, where we have on again, off again relationship with the gophers there. I know that there are instances where we'll go through a couple times a year and do the weed abatement, and they'll migrate to other places. I guess that the proper way to address that would be to mitigate the pest to begin with, rather than have them move along to other places. Does that sound right?
Correct. Yes, it would need, once the area was developed, it'd be a lot easier to manage the pests in that area.
Okay. All right. Those are my questions, and I appreciate the 311 recommendation there, because I think that's an occasional question or complaint that I'll get is, hey, there's gophers, under the such and such tree or in the median on Patterson, those types of things. So I'll relay that when I hear that from now on.
And if there's a picture or a reference point that can go with it, it makes it much easier for us to find the area that needs service.
Yeah, we'll have them pose with the gopher to take a selfie with it. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I do have a general question, and you might not know the answer, and that's okay. How do they treat the gophers? Do they smoke them out? I'm just
They
curious.
use a variety of different methods.
Is there a method that we prefer here in the city?
They try to start with non-lethal methods and then amplify it if needed from there.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's also ground squirrels, right, bees, and everything else. Well, I'm big on green open spaces and beautifying our city, so I'm certainly very much in support of this item as is proposed. Yeah, go ahead.
And I seem to recall from a previous time we had this item come forward that there were these portable engines or machines that they would bring that would utilize carbon monoxide if it got to that point. Does that sound correct, or am I misremembering that?
That is an option. It is within the scope of services. That probably won't be the first method that they use, but it is an option for the company to use that method.
Okay, and I think now that I'm saying it out loud, I seem to recall that was part of the conversation, because I think there were a couple members of the public who were a little concerned about carbon monoxide being utilized in the underground tunnels, and I believe Mr. Hallett alleviated that concern, saying, well, it's a big open space and it dissipates, pretty quickly, and it won't be done while, there are certainly people right there nearby. So that's one option, but not the only option, it sounds like.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, I make a motion as approved. Okay. Call for no public speakers, Madam Clerk, on this item?
Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers in person or virtually for this item.
Thank you.
Chair MacArthur,
Yes.
Committee Member Teran,
Yes.
Committee Member Basua.
Yes.
And this motion carries 3-0.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to item D4, also from Public Works. Subject entails public project agreement with BSN Construction for asphalt repairs in multiple neighborhood locations. Specification numbers PW 25 through 107. Recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with BSN Construction in the amount of $504,768 for the project, and approve a project contingency amount of $50,477 for a total not to exceed the value of $555,245 for the entire project. And Public Works staff is here to answer any questions we may have. Any questions from this committee? No? It's pretty straightforward, yeah. Madam Clerk, any speakers on this item?
Chair MacArthur and committee members, we do not have any public speakers in person or virtually for this item. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I'm willing to move the recommended action, but I'd like to ask if there's anything Mr. Beaman or Mr. Wolf would like to add on this item.
You're probably like, no, we don't want it. We're good.
6x6 patches, temporary and pavement, yeah, all good.
Very
Well,
straightforward.
I guess if you're going to give us the opportunity, I do want to say that sometimes we get questions about the temporary asphalt that's used, and I want to make sure everybody's aware that when we go out and maybe make a repair to the underground utilities, the first thing that we put back is not the permanent asphalt. And so I think sometimes you guys may get phone calls or questions about the temporary asphalt that goes back. That is placed as a temporary basis until we can gather enough places for us to make it economically viable to do these kinds of repairs. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that those aren't the permanent repairs that are being made. This is the permanent repairs that will be made in this fashion, which is more of a hot asphalt placement rather than a cold patch that's done as a temporary.
Great, thank you. I move the proposed action is recommended.
Second?
Call for the vote.
Committee Member Teran,
Yes.
Committee Member Basua,
Yes.
Chair MacArthur,
Yes,
and this motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
thank you. And does any member have any items for future agenda? Or any, no? If not, okay, if not, then without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you. And I-